Okay, let's unbox the rest of these board games. I think we got 10 left. So next up we got Olympus, which is a Fantasy Flight game. If you're familiar with Fantasy Flight games, tons of expansions generally speaking. I don't know about with this one. A game of state building in ancient Greece for 3 to 5 players. 5 city-state sheets. Building cards, wooden priesthood. This looks kind of like a typical European style worker placement game, but I'm not 100% sure without opening it up and taking a look. Decently thick rule book. Different gods are involved. Your city-state sheets definitely got that European worker placement vibe going on. Board. They have no idea how this game hangs together. Looks intriguing though. A lot of wooden tokens. Again, along that European worker placement. Empty space there. 3 decks of cards. Fleet, library, goldsmith. Definitely has that city-state theme. Marble quarry, oracle colony. Seem to be very similar to the first set of cards there. Although they are different colors on the back, which I imagine applies to the individual player. More of the same, except for these. Glory bonus. Well, looks interesting. On some level, I feel like the worker placement thing has been done to death. Next up we have Dominare from AEG. Seize total control of the city-state. Oh, another city-state game. This one looks like it could have a little more political intrigue, though, and a little bit less worker placement. Great art on the front, though. Long, thin rule book. Conspiracy phase. Yeah, looks like there's a fair amount of intrigue in that one, comparatively. Pretty good quality cardstock for the money. Quite large board. Get the whole thing in there. Interesting. Different parts of the city. Senate, Warrens, Merchant Quarter, canals. Definitely curious about that one. Sets of cards. Although again, the basic European style wooden blocks. Maybe individual characters involved. Almost all of those. Senatorial bribes, indulgences, kickbacks. I do like games with a little bit of political intrigue, especially in a larger group. And this game is for... No, it doesn't say. At least on that, not on the outer box. More personalities. Tons of personalities. That's Dominare. Two to six players, okay. Well, let's look at something a little bit more silly. Deadwood Studios USA, the board game of acting badly. This is another roommate purchase. These are all roommate purchases, which is why I know so little about them. Art by Phil Foglio. I feel like Phil Foglio was an early Magic the Gathering artist. Correct me if I'm wrong. Small and large dice. A very small rule book. It certainly has the small or simple party game feel to it. Large number of tokens. Variety of boards. 3 boards. Not sure how that all hangs together. So cards budget. There's a lot of dice rolling involved. You appear to be making a fake movie. In a silly way, as far as I can tell. But hey, for a $10 game on clearance, why not? Next up, a little more in the steampunk sort of feel, we got Gear and Piston by Luigi Creations. Set in 1888. Well, I guess that doesn't make it steampunk. You'll make a name of yourself as an automotive pioneer change the history of motorized transportation, and win the race that is gear and piston. With a lot of skill and luck, maybe. Again, we're building some sort of contraption. Oh, that one's in German. German? French. This is German. And English. 3 sets of rule books. Sort of a small board. In with our European wooden tokens, that's the theme of the day. Promotional materials. Cardboard punch-out characters that are punching out on their own for the most part. So that's all cardstock punch-outs of medium quality, nothing special. Shadows over the Empire. From Artepia Games. Kind of a cartoon-looking medieval. Appears to be card-based. Almost entirely card-based. It's a fairly simple rule book. Card-based interaction, sort of like Citadels, if you ever played that. Pretty good quality tokens. Oh, the cards are quite large. Significantly larger than I was expecting. That's kind of cool. Rather than the standard playing card size. Various characters. Pretty good art. Interesting cartoony style that they've got going here. And that appears to be it. There's some tokens. The large size cards, and that is it. Alright, what do we got next? The Last Banquet. A party game of courtly intrigue and maneuvering for 6 to 25 players. Holy cow. Can the king survive dessert? That's quite the party game if it'll support up to 25 people. Oh, Fantasy Flight game, naturally. Fantasy Flight, who makes all sorts of games. Out of the big name, like Arkham Horror, Game of Thrones, the board game, that's an excellent one. Netrunner. Descent, also an excellent one with tons and tons of expansions. Anyway, Last Banquet. Medium thickness rule book. This might be a little bit more complex than your typical party game. That's good. Sets of tokens. Not tons of tokens. Be about medium quality. Bag of chain. Oh, these tokens have got holes in them. Because everybody's going to be wearing a token. Interesting. Small set of oversized cards. Characters. This appears to hang together pretty similar, probably to the Resistance or Coup or Avalon, if you ever played those sort of party games. But it's assuming a character. Those aforementioned games, though, are excellent, so hopefully this one turns out to be as well. Alright, next up, briefcase. The world of business is a world of tough decisions. Tough situations demand tough decisions. You as a young and ambitious entrepreneur will struggle for wealth. In order to gain wealth, you should first create an efficient economic engine. But the dilemmas will be hard. Which companies will you acquire and activate first? Which company's ability is the most important for an early economic boost? Industrial espionage, business building sort of themed game. 2 to 4 players. Oh, 45 minutes, that's not so bad. Oh, appears to be very card-based. Plastic pads provided. Central bank card. Oh. French, English, and German again. Pretty thin rule book. Must be straightforward. Theme and cards kind of remind me of the Illuminati New World Order card game from the 90s, which I realize is a while ago, but it was an interesting game with a sort of hilarious take on politics and business. I'm not really clear what these cards represent. Whereas these ones appear to be the businesses you can purchase: paper mill, oil refinery, newspaper, media company, oh yeah, law firm, insurance company, high-tech company, and so on. So like more of the cards that I don't know what they do. More businesses to purchase. Oh, power plant. Yeah, all more businesses. And then some little tiny cards. 2 decks of little tiny cards. With no clear purpose without reading the rules. Just leave those wrapped for the time being. Intriguing game. Hey, Pandemic. Game where I actually kind of know what's going on with it. Pandemic is an extremely popular and positively reviewed cooperative game where you and, well, 2 to 4 people are cooperatively trying to stamp out a horrible pandemic disease. Pretty simple, thin, straightforward rulebook. I would call a pretty average sized map. Oh, I got plastic cubes. Stepping outside the box from the wooden ones. Location cards. Although I'm familiar with the theme of this game, I have not personally played it yet. Giving it a try soon, though. Epidemic cards, more location. Tons of location-related cards. Which I'm quite the board game haul today. Alright. Ventura, another Fantasy Flight game, because they make everything. A little bit more of that in the camera. It's another 2 to 4 player game. Might be another city-state game being set in the Renaissance. Powerful families struggle for conquest in fierce battles in the Italian Renaissance. Another Fantasy Flight games. Slightly different content. Rulebook isn't ridiculously thick. Just have a lot of card base going on with it. Sort of scoreboard. Assume those are your individual city-states. And the rest of the game seems to function around the tiles that you're going to punch out. Almost like Settlers of Catan tiles. And they're different terrain types. Large deck of cards. With personalities or roles, soldiers. Oh yeah, swordsmen, poachers, farmers. Interesting looking game. Another one of those that I had never even heard of before the roommate bought it. But Fantasy Flight normally does a good job. Certainly worth giving a shot. Alright. Titanium Wars. Appear to be a sort of steampunk-themed space game. Build your fleet, crush your enemies, and get the precious titanium. It's not 3 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes. Quite the thin rule book, just like a 3-level fold out. Appears to be currency tokens. The rest of it is card based. Those are some small cards. Oh wait, that's just that's money. I feel like that could get lost fairly easily. Time will tell. And the rest is I can see the line there where there's supposed to be a tactic cards, sort of location cards, leader cards, arsenal cards. Well, despite the somewhat limited rulebook, appears to be a fair amount going on here. The box appears to be built to actually store the game properly once it's all set up, which is good and surprisingly rare, even in our current golden age of board games. Fighter squadron, cruisers, destroyers, all sort of military fleet cards. This one appears to be more of the same. No armor upgrade cards of some sort. More. Okay, well, a huge part of this game appears to be the arsenal cards, which are your fleet and your upgrades. I scratched that one, that's unfortunate. Tokens are nothing special. They're on the lower end of the quality scale, but I suppose if they're just currency, that's probably fine. Let's see. Last but not least, Captains of Industry by TMG. 3 to 5 player. The Industrial Revolution, a time when strong work ethic, a sharp mind, and a little elbow grease was enough to take a man from rags to riches. Do you have what it takes to become a captain of industry? More industrial empire building. Sounds like. 2 large sets of cards, a small set of cards, currency, a set of 5 colors of wooden $sign tokens, medium thickness rulebook, a market research card. That's actually pretty good quality. The medium quality punch tokens in the various player colors. And our board, which appears to be fairly large. Although not super exciting looking. Well, I guess board game opening is not really what I intend to do with this channel for the most part. But we had all these sitting around, so I figured I might as well film opening them. That's just currency. Would like to get into doing some reviews of the various units in Axis Allies War at Sea. Maybe some nation reviews. We'll see. Oh, drop part of this. Farming Boss, Expansionist. Why do they have the same picture? And the Silver Captain. Couldn't spring for multiple old guy art. Various items you can buy: oil wells, universities, steel foundries, similar to a couple of other games that we've opened tonight. Well, I don't know, what was that, 10 board games? If there's anything you would like to see a little bit more thorough review on or hear about after we've played it, tell me. Otherwise, I will hopefully be back soon with some more at sea videos.